Okay, can you hear me now, YouTube? So week 2. Yes, Tejo, how are you? Hey, I'm surviving. Abantu bafuna my life. Your post of the week. I said they're gonna stream tomorrow at 11 in the morning, and then after that I'll be going through whatever they did on App Academy. I don't know why I'm live today. People asked me to go live, so you guys can tell me what I need to do. Thank you for joining the team. In the channel. Oh, so yes, Corv. I will post it on YouTube then. Thank you for the follow. The WhatsApp channel. Let me quickly check. Is it the other one that they posted like last week? I can't even check. Today, they posted something today. I did not see. Yes, I'm live on YouTube. I don't wanna go live. People kept asking. I don't know what message was sent. No, if you YouTube, if you study or just keep practicing, doubt it will be very hard. Might be very easy. Today. How did it advance my career as a developer? Okay, I'll answer that for you now. So what are we doing today, guys? What does anyone want help with? Ash, abantu bayacela. For now, no, there's no other software because you just need VS Code for now. Even when it comes to Android, if they do Android, you'd use no, I don't know if we're doing Android actually. I don't know. I'm not sure. We'll see. We'll see when the time comes. Aviwe. So people are just, I think they just researching whatever they want to use. So it's not necessarily that they got something for them to practice with, but they just checking on their own. So it's like self-study. Oh, okay. I will answer week 2 tomorrow. I will post week 2 tomorrow, basically. This is basically week 2. If you got the email, you should have gotten the email. So this basically shows what we'll be doing. So some HTML, CSS styling now. And then they tell us where to actually get our code or our images and stuff. This is section 2. Hi PP. Quick recap. Yeah. So this is it. I don't know if anyone else got the email. You wanna start with what they sent? Do you guys wanna start with what they sent? Thank you so much. Yo, I was like 500 so quick. I was very shocked. Yes, so CSS is week 2, HTML is week 1. Thank you so much, Pumpkin. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Alright, I guess let's get started. Let us get started. Thank you for joining the team, Pumpkin. Okay, I think I'll create a new one. Okay, so for today, let's create a new folder in our desktop. This folder, we'll call it week 2, just so we can separate everything. So week 2, enter, and inside week 2 we will just go to VS Code, then go to file, and then open folder. After clicking open folder, we open week 2, then select folder, here it is. Right, now we need to create two files. The first file we'll create is our index.html. Then the second file we create is style.css. But first, let's go back. I just want to see something. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so week 2, getting started with CSS. Right, so what is CSS? The CSS is basically, oh, am I even sharing my screen? No, I'm not. Sorry guys, I wasn't sharing my screen. So we can all see the screen. Yes, there is a way of practicing without affecting. So all you have to do is just create a new folder and then create something new and play around with that. So you can do that. We're going to be tested on things that we're currently. Oh, no wonder. So just give me 1 second. We'll get started now. My TikTok was logged out. How will I get the code? There's no need, just save your work. There's no submitting at the moment, but as soon as it's time for submissions, they'll let you guys know where to submit. So just keep all the code you've been working on safe. Then when it's time for submissions, they'll let you know exactly how to submit. So I'm just logging in. Get started now. Thank you for the heart, me. Okay, perfect. So what is CSS? CSS is basically cascading style sheets. It's a simple design language that we use to make web pages beautiful and presentable. So this means, see how we've got our websites that are plain and simple like this? CSS helps us make this look much nicer so that it's more presentable to a person, where we get a point where we have a website similar to this. See how attention grabbing this is. So this is all CSS. CSS allows you to make all the websites look much more presentable. I'm left behind here, guys. Just watch the videos on YouTube, either from App Academy or from my channel. Then you can try and at least see how far we all are. Okay, so using CSS you can set colors, fonts, background images, and obviously CSS is different to HTML. They both serve completely different functions. So in HTML, like we did, it's the structure of your site. HTML deals with the structure, and then HTML deals with structure, then CSS does your styling, so that makes your website look much more beautiful. So there's other benefits here. CSS helps your pages load faster, it saves time, and it makes maintaining a site easy. Okay. Okay, so now they telling us are we still good? Ms. T, you can use VS Code or brackets, whatever you're comfortable with. It should be the same thing, but they recommended VS Code. Okay, so first thing, like I said, we need to do is go to your file manager, then go to your desktop and create a new folder called week 2. And then in that folder, once you have that folder, we'll just close it so we can just open it together. Okay, so once we've created the new folder called week 2, we go to our VS Code and we say open folder. So once you click on open folder, you go to your desktop and find that folder itself, click on it and click select folder. How do we save our work? Because I did all the lessons in one web page. Yeah, just keep it on your machine and don't mess it up, and just create a new folder now so that we can work on new stuff. So just keep it on your machine. You're just saving it, saying week 1 section whatever, or you can just have this is week 1 stuff, then you'll have week 2 stuff in another folder. So yeah, what we need to do now is, let me just remove this so we can start it again. What we need to do after opening the folder, it should be empty, right? And after it's you're done opening it, you click on new file. After clicking new file, you're gonna write index.html. this is our home page. And once you're done with that, you're gonna click on new file again and open style.css. Right? So once you're done with this, in your index.html, we're gonna just create the structure like this. No, we just started like what, 15 minutes ago, so don't worry, we just started 15 minutes ago. So what we're doing right now is we are basically now following this email. So they said the first thing we need to do is create style.css, then we need to link it to our HTML index.html. So the way we do that is, like I said, I created these two, index and style.css, and then for us to link it, we need to write link rel. Rel is you saying this is the relationship of this link, and the relationship is a style sheet. And what is a style sheet? That's your CSS file. So a style sheet is what we use to style our document. So instead of having inline styling or in the file styling, we have a separate file that deals with all the styling, which is a style.css file. And then after you're done with that, after you're done with that, yes, it's href. So the same way we do our links in hyperlinks, here we're gonna put the CSS file. So our CSS file is called style.css. Then you just close. Yes, this is recorded on YouTube. This is recorded on YouTube. Are we still good? Are we following? The YouTube channel is at Simphiwe Radebe __. How? Are we following, or should I just try and go back again? Please go back again. Okay. It's fine. Let's go back again. Okay, let's do this. So the first thing you need to do is you'll go to your desktop, right? And you'll create a new folder, right? So right click and new folder. The new folder will be called week 2, right? And once you're done with that, open up VS Code. So your VS Code will open up, right? Then you'll click on open folder, right? We click on open folder. After clicking on open folder, now there's this new folder we just created called week 2. So we click on week 2 and click select folder, right? After doing that, you'll see week 2 will pop up here at the corner, top left corner, called week 2, right? No. So you make it separate unless you have week 1 in that same folder, but rather make it separate. So you can have it, unless you have something like this where you have App Academy, and in App Academy maybe you have section 1 or week 1, week 2, week 3, whatever. So if not like that, rather have it on its own. So it will be week 2 on its own. Oh, can I decrease it? Okay. Yes, different folders for each week. K Sunday. Can you see now? I think I reduced it a bit. But okay, so we get the folder thing, right? We create a new folder. After that, now in this folder, we're gonna click on new file and write index.html. So write it exactly like me, index.html. After doing that, before we even do anything in the index.html, create a new file again called style.css and click enter. After doing that, you will click on your index.html and write HTML5. This is so we can have that structure again, right? So now that we have this structure, we want to we want to link our CSS to our HTML file. And how do we do that? So they say we need to use this, it's a element or a tag called link. And how this works is it wants two attributes. FYS, it's better to have it different so that you can see week 1 this is what you did, week 2 you have something different because you're not using the same resources. So after that we write rel. Rel means relationship. So the reason we add link rel means relationship. So what is the relationship of this link? The relationship of this link is it's a style sheet, right? And once we've said that this is a style sheet, the next thing we need to do is we need to now link that style sheet. Where is that style sheet? To find that, we need to say href. Then we write the name of our style sheet. What is the name of our style sheets? It's style.css. Then we just close our link. Just like that, these two are now linked to each other. So if you do anything in here, it will obviously affect all the stuff that are in this file. So are we still good? Has everyone done that? Has everyone done that? We are gonna add style to the website that we already created. We can do that. So let's just get the basics down. Then we can go back to that site that we created and see what we can actually do, make it look very nice. So for now, let's just get the basics down, and then we can now use our old sites and say, okay, let's see what we can style up. Yeah, it's done. Okay, now this is what we just did. We created our HTML code and linked our CSS file, right? And after doing that, this is the CSS code that they want us to use. So we don't need to worry. First, let's actually get something on our site. So what do we want to create? Let's maybe have a heading. Our heading could be yeah, week 2 CSS, right? You posted a video about me. Is it thank you? Thank you. FNB App Academy week 2, right? So after sorry, after having the heading, let's have a paragraph. What will our paragraph be? In this week we can create sites that look more visually appealing. Right? So just like that, we've created our site. So let's quickly open it with live server. Open with live server, and this is how our site looks for now, right? The name of my YouTube channel is the same as my TikTok name. It's at Simphiwe Radebe __. That's the name. Yeah, you can send a DM. Okay, so we've done this now, right? This is our website we're working with for now for CSS, right? Now, what do we want to do here? We want to be able to change the color of this as well as the font or font size, right? So we go to our CSS. Yes, sessions are always recorded. So let's go to our CSS now. Now I need to explain something so you guys can understand what we are doing here. Let's close this. So you see all of these tags, this head tag, title tag, body. Okay, you don't have to worry about head because we're not editing anything in the head, but you see this body tag, h1 tag, p tag, right? These tags are unique because when we use our CSS, this is how we tell CSS that look for this tag and do this to this tag. So we want CSS to know that we're looking for h1 tag or h1 element, and we want to do this to the h1 element, right? So we just write h1 just like that. It will figure out where the h1 is in your HTML file. Then the CSS syntax is you write the class name or the actual, basically this is your selector, right? It's what you are selecting in your HTML file. After that, you open curly braces. You see the way these braces, brackets, curly braces, brackets, whatever. So you open curly brackets and click enter. Then it will automatically format for you. So it will format, and then now you want to say, okay, I want to change something in my h1. What do you want to change in your h1? Maybe we want to change the color. So currently the color of our h1 is black. So you see it's black. Maybe we want it to be blue. So we write color and colon, and then you will see all these colors pop up for you, right? All these colors pop up, but you can type whatever you want, or you can if you know the hex code of the color you are looking for, you can write the hex code in there. So we want maybe to use aqua, and automatically it will do everything for us. And you need to close your CSS line with this. So whatever attribute you are adding to this selector, you need to close it with a semicolon. So you need to close it with a semicolon, right? Now if we go to our website, we see the color has changed here. Now it's whatever color we just added. So this shows that our CSS and HTML are linked to each other. Now we also want to change something in the paragraph. So all you do is you select paragraph, open your brackets, enter. Maybe we want font size, right? So we can change the font size to maybe 30 pixels. And maybe we also want to change the color, and we want it to be red. So if we say red, enter, and go, there we go, it's changed the color for us. So now we've done some CSS. We've done some CSS, and we've changed elements the way we want them to be. So that's what CSS is for. So this is just using selectors, right? This is an element selector. So this is whatever you have in your HTML, you are selecting. So if I had 20 H1s, all of the H1s will be blue because you are only selecting H1 and you're not specifying which H1. So I'll get to how we specify which H1 we want to change so that we don't change every H1 together. So let's say, for example, we had another H1 in here, H1 again, and we say this is week 2 content, right? And we don't have to add a paragraph, it's fine. Now you see, I just called it H1 again, right? And as soon as we go into the site, it also becomes blue because both of them are H1 and CSS is only looking for H1. I don't know if we understand that part. So I hope we understand that part, because it is important to know that if you use an element selector, this is a selector. If you use an element selector and do change to that, if you've got multiple selectors in your HTML file, all of them will be changed simultaneously. And if you don't want that to happen, there's a certain way we need to do something for it to not update all of them at the same time or together, right? What's live server? We done live server in day 1. Live server we done in day 1. So live server is an extension. So live server is an extension that basically helps us do changes without having to keep refreshing. But if you still know how to open your HTML files, just open them up. But to find live server, go to this blocks icon here, and then search live server. And after searching live server, you click on this one with 63 million views. It's a purple icon. Then just click on install. Once it's done installing, whenever you right click on any HTML file, you will see this option up here called open with live server. So that's what I did there. Let's continue. It's gonna be a bit tough without a laptop, but there are people that have apps that they're using to code without a laptop. Simply the lesson videos use brackets most. Ignore brackets. Use VS Code. If you check in week 1, they told us to use VS Code, but it's fine. If you are comfortable with brackets, use brackets. If you want to use VS Code, rather switch to VS Code. It's a bit better than using brackets. Okay, let's continue. So do we understand why both these H1s have turned to the same color? Do we understand why that happens? Thank you for the heart me. So if I now change this to orange, both of them will become orange. Both of them become orange, and it's because we have one selector here, which both of them are using that same selector. So now, how do we now say I want only this H1 to do one thing, or to be one color, and the other one to be its own color? Okay, first let's see if I'm not jumping the gun from the web from them. Okay, they're doing fonts. They didn't. Let's continue. So now what happens is we want to say this specific one, I want it only to be orange. This must stay as is, but we don't want to do inline styling, right? We don't want to do inline styling. We want to still use CSS. So how do we do that? There's something called class. This is an attribute you can add to all the different elements in HTML, and you always add it in the opening tag. So always in the opening tag you add this class, right? Class is just so you can define to say this specific tag must be called this. So let's say we want this tag to be called heading, first heading. So first heading. So this is now our class, right? So after having this class, automatically, before I even do anything in the CSS, oh okay, it will still do. So even though we still have this class, they will still both be orange because this still uses this HTML element called h1. Now the moment we only want first heading to have h1, what we have to do is we need to say dot first heading, exactly the same way we have it here. So we just write dot first heading dot. The reason we add dot, to call a class name we use dot notation, dot the class name. If it was a ID, which I'll get to as well, we use hashtag. So there's two different ones. There's your dot and hashtag. Sammy, what is your problem? I think sizokumuta kancane. Thank you very much. Okay, let's continue. First heading. So we called our class name here first heading, right? So first heading is now the class name, and the moment we call the class name right here, first heading, if we go here, we see only this one is now orange, and that's back to black. And the reason for that is we're no more using the element selector in this HTML file. We're only using the class name. So us using the class name allows us to only edit the specific class and not all the elements which use the same element or same tag. So do we understand that part? Just want you guys to see if we're still on the same level. Yes. Oh, we got it. Okay, perfect. So class is now for us to uniquely identify this specific element as the first heading, and the moment we add this also as a class of maybe second heading, we can also do something to that specific class only. So we just say dot, rather to make your life easier, just copy the class name and you paste it. Then you can edit, or basically make sure your, what's this, oh, this side is a no. Okay, andile, it's fine. So let me try and explain it again. Can you just tell me where you got lost? Oh, the half screen is killing y'all. Is the half screen a problem? Do I need to have them side by side? Not have them side by side, because I feel like it's a bit easier. And weird enough, YouTube has a full screen. Sorry, can you repeat the selectors thing? Okay, let me repeat the selectors thing. So let's go back. Now you see how we have putting the dot before the first heading. Okay, that's fine. I'll just quickly go back a bit more, like this, back, and then back. Okay, so let's go back, right? We see how we have these two h1 elements, right? These are both h1 elements, h1 tags. They both orange. And the reason they both orange is because here, this is our selector, right? We want to say in HTML, in our HTML file, can you please look for h1? So it will now come to HTML and now say, oh, here's h1 in line 11, here's h1 in line 14, and what I want you to do to this, it will now say, okay, it wants me to change the color of this h1. So this is your selector. You need to, you're basically saying that you need to use this selector to do a change to only this specific item. So wherever you find this item, do this change. That's what the selector is for. So you are just saying select this item or this tag and use this tag. Wherever you see this tag, change the color, right? So that's what the selector is for. And now if we wanted to not be orange on both sides, we only want one of them to be orange, there's a way for us to do that without having to use inline styling. What is inline styling? Inline styling is in the same element you write style and you have your CSS within that element. So if I change this to aqua, you see it changes automatically to blue, even though we have h1 as orange and this is still h1 with no class name. So we don't want to use inline styling because we rather use the the CSS file. CSS file will contain all our design elements, right? So how do we do that? We need to use something called a class name. So we add class and we name it first heading, right? Just like that. Now we've given this specific element its own unique name, basically. So it basically has a name right now. So its name is first heading. It's no more h1, it's first heading. But if you have not called it anyway, it's still gonna be orange because you have not called first heading anyway in your CSS, right? Now, what is the dot for? This dot is to say I'm looking for a class name, meaning I'm looking for a class. I'm not looking for anything else. I'm looking for class. So you have to say dot to look for class, and then you can just copy and paste class, and then you can now do the color however you want. So maybe you want it to be dark blue. So now only first heading will be dark blue. There we go. First heading is dark blue because we used the class name. But this h1 is for this. So now only this one, because here we have a class name, it's not gonna override this h1's one. It's gonna keep the class name because we're specifically calling it and changing it to something. Do you understand that part? Check it out. Just saying, I've been trying to save my code, but after saving it still appears as code. What am I doing wrong? Can you send me an email with the code so I can just see? I'll try and open up my, you can send the email there. Okay guys, are we still following? We're still following. Made more sense. Can you move the chat? I'm trying to see the work behind it. Okay. Ish. I don't know if I could move this specific the gift stuff. Okay, no, it's fine. Let's continue. Should be fine this side, right? Oh Well, let me do it like this. Okay, now let's continue. We'll try and see how we can do this, because it's a bit tricky way to put it. Maybe there. Okay, let's continue. Now we did our class, right? Remember I said there's two, there's hashtag and there's dot. Now dot is for class, hashtag is for ID. So if you wanted this to have an ID, you'd write ID and maybe call this paragraph, right? Now if we change this to a dot paragraph and change the color to violet, right? You see how the color did not change. The color didn't change because we're calling it as a class name, but it's not a class name, it's an ID. And an ID, the way you call an ID is hashtag. So you see how now the color has changed to purple or violet because we used the correct method to call this specific element. So now the ID is called paragraph, we say hashtag. If it's a class, it's dot. If it's an ID, it's hashtag. So that's the difference between the two. We're not able to close this. Yeah. Okay, cool. Now we know the difference between. No, it's for anyone in the world can join. Yeah, cool. So now what needs to happen is let's see what they said we need to go through next. So we already done some CSS. Now it's saying fonts. Okay, so these are the different fonts they have. We'll try this fantasy and sans serif. Now how do we do this? It's saying we want to change the font. Let's say we want to change the font of first heading. We want to change the font of first heading, right? To change the font of first heading, we write font dash family. So font family is it's basically saying you want to change the font's family, basically the typeface, right? Now it will show you different, if you're on VS Code, it will show you some different suggestions, but you saw there they used sans serif, right? So if we use sans serif and go back, you see how it looks different to this one. So it looks different to this, looks a bit cleaner than this one. So you can always have your main, basically you can have your entire document or your entire HTML as a font size of font serif. So you could say dot, or not dot, it's star, and then say font family and say sans serif. Now you'll notice something. You know what will happen now? Everything will have to be you see sans serif. So everything is now sans serif. So this is how people normally default a specific font. So they say star as this means all. So you're saying I want every single element within this file to use this following this following font style. So every element, whether you have whatever, every element will use. Oh, I can see the font thing. Yeah, so every element will use this font. You can even change the pixels, so the font size. So the font size, you can even say I want all the fonts to be what's this, 20 pixels. So you see how this is not going to be, because we already added a font size right there, which is 30, but everything else is 20 pixels. Even though it's a heading, it's 20 pixels. So this star represents all elements, meaning everything in HTML, in my HTML file, I want you to do this to it. So that's what the star is for. So the reason I add the star is you can default to say every single element that uses text must automatically use this specific font size, or font family rather. That's what the star is for. Do we get that part? And we get how we adding this font. So font family is when you want to change the style of your font. So if we maybe changed it to, I wonder if they have pop-ins. No, they don't. Yeah, let's try Gill Sans. So you can just click on Gill Sans and then see. This is how Gill Sans looks. So you can see it's a bit different from these two. It's more rounded and not sharp. So fonts play a big role in making your websites look much nicer. Oh, what did I do? Yeah, so that's what font sizes do. I mean, font families do rather. So you can have, sometimes you can even download a specific font, and then you will link that specific font right there. Then all your files will use that font. Do we have any questions? I see one no. YouTube is very quiet. Are you guys fine? No questions. Okay, so let's see what was next. Bullets. Okay, now this is when you want to do lists. So for now we can close our CSS, right? Let's just focus on our HTML. Now we want to create a list. How do we create a list? Let's say we needed to add a list of all the different content we'd have in week 2. No, okay, perfect. We'd have a list of all our content in week 2. And how do we do that? We have two different tags called UL, and then we also have OL. What is UL and OL? UL is unordered list, meaning bullet points. Unordered does not matter. Bullet points. Then OL is ordered list. OL is ordered list. That's the difference between the two. So when we use UL, now in UL it requires something for us to actually show the list, right? And the way we show this list is something called LI. What is LI? LI is list item. List item. So you only use LI within your list. So this is unordered list and this is ordered list. So we can have an unordered list of an element, maybe saying CSS. Then we have another one saying don't worry, this is just me writing stuff. And right, so when we go to our website, we see this list right there. You see, so it says this is week 2 content. Here's the list. It's LALSM. How can I try and go back and break it down for you? I want you to get it. Yeah, this will be on YouTube as well. We can't see the list. As in, like, on your side or on my side, you can't see the list. What? my side. Huh? And now my screen is cut. I'm confused because I never did anything. Okay, let us see. Let me close this. Display capture. Let's lock that. Can you guys see? Thank you for the follow. Can you see the full screen? Okay, so now you see the full screen. So you still see the code, right? Full screen. Okay, my name on YouTube is Simphiwe Radebe __. Okay, cool. Let's see. So here's the list. Were you guys able to see the list that I wrote, or the code, right? You saw the code though. So now this is an unordered list, meaning we don't have any. You can see the code. Oh, maybe it's like too small. I've zoomed in. Is it better now? Oh, okay. Yeah, I forgot you're on phone. That's why. Hidden. Because I'm watching the live on the side. But okay, cool. Let's continue. So here's the list. Now we've created an unordered list, right? So unordered list means bullet points, basically. That's what it means. So unordered list is it's not having an order, meaning you're not putting numbers. Now ordered list, the way we do ordered list, we can just copy the same code and paste it here. So maybe let's have a heading to separate the two, H3 maybe, to say this is unordered lists. Then this will be lists, right? Now the moment we go in here, we will see the unordered list and the ordered list. You see, we have the exact same thing. We did not add numbers or anything or bullet points, but the moment we use either an unordered list or an ordered list, the unordered list will automatically use bullet points. The ordered list will use numbers. So it will take the way you have it in your code. First one is number 1, second one number 2, third one number 3. So those are your ordered list and unordered list. But now they want us to have styles. So there's these styles. So now after doing this, we can go to our CSS, right? So let's go back to our CSS. First, do we understand that part? Do we understand the ordered list and unordered lists? Yes, we do. Please repeat. Okay, repeat for you now. Let's just do that here. Okay, cool. Let me go back. So what we did just now is we have two different types of lists. We have an ordered list and we have an unordered list, right? An unordered list means bullet points. I'm not writing numbers. I don't need you to order it to make it in order for me, right? It just doesn't matter. But now when we have OL is ordered list. Ordered meaning I want you to specify that this is number one, this is number two, this is number three. So the way we write it is UL. It's literally the same, it's in the name. UL. So it's UL, unordered list. Then OL, ordered list. That's how you'll remember the two. UL, unordered list. OL, ordered list. So unordered lists contain list items. So LI is list item. So LI is list item, right? So list items are basically what's in your list. So you want to have a list and what's in your list. And we have three things in our list: CSS, JavaScript, Python. And then we can copy the same list items for ordered lists, right? And after doing that, we can now check how our website looks. Just try and close these things. So, oh, sorry, ignore that for now because I did this. Oh yeah, there we go. Okay, so after doing the UL and OL, UL is now showing as dots, right, which is your bullet points. Then OL is showing as numbers, so it's ordering the list to say this is number one, this is number two, this is number three. And whenever you add whatever, if you add another item, it will automatically order it. So if you add another list item, we call it dot, it will make it number 4. So you see, number 4. So that's what's the difference between unordered list and ordered list. But now how do we style these? Maybe we want it to be a bit different. So the way we do this, thank you so much, Ghetto. Thank you so much. The way we do this is there's ints. So yeah, so now that we're done with our list, right, we need to go to style.css, right? And now the same way, like I said, what we did before is we done a selector. So this is an element selector. So we now want to just call every UL, so every unordered list in our HTML file, we want the list style type, right? So list style type, list style type. These are all the different types that they have here. So you can select whichever type you want. Let's say we wanted disk, right? And then for OL, we want list style type. These are the style types that will show. Maybe you want Greek letters, right? So this will automatically now update these to look how you want it. So these are Greek letters of A, B, C, D, or 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Now if maybe we didn't want Greek, you write whatever you're looking for, maybe Latin, that's lowercase. And then what else do we have? Roman letters. So this is your Roman letters. So this is how you can style your ordered lists. And then for unordered list, again, you can also play around here and see the different types. Maybe you want it to be a circle, and thank you so much. You see, now it's a circle instead of dot bullet point. It's a circle. So you can always research and see different UL/OL styles. Right, so it will show you different ones. So you can see these different style types. So you can have square, circle, and then for ordered lists you can does it always have to be lowercase? What must be lowercase? the element names. So the element names must be exactly how they are here. So obviously all our element names are, now can you zoom it in? YouTube is very quiet. Are you guys good? So you see we've got circle and we've got square. So we can literally just see that in our CSS file. So maybe we want square. So you can select square. If we go to our site, this will change to a square. So that's how we edit our lists. So you see we've got ordered list, unordered lists. We can edit them separately because they're two different elements. But if maybe now you wanted to have two different lists, let's just copy and paste this lists. Again, what will come in handy is your class names. So we have this, we can call this languages, and then maybe here frameworks. This can be Django, React, Flutter, right? So now that you have this, you've got two different unordered lists, but you want them to have different list item styles. So for you to do different styling to the different lists, you need to add a class name. So class here, you can call it frameworks list, frameworks list, and here you can have a class name called languages list. Right now you can just do languages list, and only languages list in our two different ULs will change, because we only want the languages to have square and we want frameworks to stay as bullet points. So that's how you make sure you change only one specific type. So even with the UL, it's the exact same thing. Even with list items, maybe I want these list items to be, okay, there's something new I'll teach you guys now. Sorry. And let me just show you guys. So now let's say we have languages list, and what is in languages list? Hi Snogushe, how are you? Let's say we have languages list and we want what is in languages list. How do you think we would now get this? Instead of having to now put class names for each specific tag, we can now use CSS to say within languages list, I want you to go into the list items. So you are saying in languages list, in languages list, I want the elements within there that are list items, and it will automatically find those. And maybe I want to change the font family to Arial, and I want to change the font size to 25 pixels. And just like that, you see how this has changed without us having to call list item or add class names to each specific list items. So the reason for this is you are now using one selector, and you are just going within that selector to find elements within that selector. What uses letters to list items? So you want it like to be A, B, C, D. So that would be your Latin, I think. So you can say Latin and it will use letters. So here you go. So if you wanted to use letters to list your items, you can say Latin, and then that will change. Maybe I want upper cases, so it will be capital A, B, C, D. That's how you, and you have to use an ordered list, because ordered list is what you ordering, and then unordered lists are normally your bullet points. So you see how we used this. So this is to specify a specific selector within a class. So I've called a class name, but I want that some things that are in that class name to also change. So I'm saying go into class name and find everything that is a list item. Do we get that part? Do we get that part? YouTube, are you guys good? What attribute uses letters to list items? I don't follow what you mean. Or is it what I just explained for you? Because I said if you're using ordered language, ordered lists, the list style type for letters is upper Latin or lower Latin. Please explain how to define a class again. Okay, that's fine. How do we define a class? We go into our HTML site, and in our HTML site, we look for the element we want to name. So we want this specific element to be unique, right? Because we want to change it on its own. And to do that, we say class and we say equals and whatever we want to name it. So make it a unique name that you're not going to use again somewhere else. Unless you want first heading to be used somewhere else again, you can still call it, and in your CSS you just call it once. So this is how we define a class name. It's in your HTML file, and within your HTML file, it's within the opening element of whatever you are doing. So in H1 it would be in the opening H1 space class equals double quotes and the name. Do I understand? Okay, now let's see how we can make this look so much nicer with CSS. So I'm just checking. Okay, YouTube still good. Okay, let's start from scratch. The screen is not full again. Don't worry, I'll go back and fix that. Yeah, this is on YouTube as well. I think if you want to see a bit better, just go on YouTube and you should be seeing a bit better. Let me remove this to the side so they can actually see. Yeah, it's on YouTube as well. So let's quickly try and do something that would look very nice, right? Let's say a new file called CSS power.html, right? So we'll have our HTML file there, and then we want to have some elements we're creating. So I'll start with, what's the channel on YT? It's Simphiwe Radebe __. Give them homework based on the 2 weeks work. So I'm not necessarily the homework person, I'm just helping. So I want to make sure people understand. So like even if you send me your code and you want me to help you, that's the reason why I'm going live, for people to understand. So I will even explain again if I have to. Okay, I'll explain for you guys now. True. That's why this, remember, App Academy is dealing with all of this, so I'm just helping App Academy. Thank you so much, Ghetto. So I'm gonna just try and show y'all something quickly. Abuti Tips, how are you? I'm good, man. How are you, sir? It's only a pleasure, guys. I just want everyone to understand. And then this. YouTube is still good. Rats. Cool. Now let's see what CSS can do for us. So you can maybe quickly just rename this to underscore v1. Doesn't matter. I want us to just have another style.css so we don't mess up that one. Right now in here, so we started from scratch, right? Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much. So in here, right, this is now, we want to show power of CSS, right? Let's see how this website looks currently. Let's just see how it looks. Look at this. See how it looks? This is how this website currently looks. It's not as appealing. If someone had to see this, they'd definitely see that, nah, you are still learning. So we cannot hire you, man. You're still definitely a learner. Now let's link our CSS. So the same way we did it. So remember, JavaScript, VS Code has its own image abbreviations. I never showed you that's for CSS, but you can write link without having the open bracket and you'll see CSS right there. When you click on it, it will automatically reference it for you, but it will automatically name it as style.css because we normally have it called style.css, but you can have it as whatever. Thank you so much, Andy. Yeah? Now we've linked our CSS, right? Let's just fix this formatting of our code because it looks very off. Okay, perfect. Now we have a new file called CSS power, right? This is how it looks. We obviously want this to look a bit nicer, right? So let's add some CSS to this. So let's open our style.css. The first thing we want to change, right, is our body. So our body basically will do the body elements, right? And this means everything in this body. Basically, I'm calling body and I'm making changes to body specifically. So margin is basically saying in my site I must have no margin in between this. So you see right there on the side, see how close it is. There must be no margin between the text or whatever and the core and the lines or the borders. So margin 0, and we want to have a font family, right? Sorry, font family. Now font family can be whatever you want. I liked which one did I choose that side? Kill Sands, I think. So I'm choosing Kill Sands again. And then after choosing Kill Sands, I want to have a background, right? And what will my background be? Linear gradient. What is a linear gradient? Sorry. So a linear gradient is basically, you know how a color will go from red and mash up to yellow, or red mash up to blue. That's our gradient. So we want to do a gradient. So here we start by adding the degrees. So whatever degree you want it to be in, then you add the colors. So you can get colors online. So you can just search, let's say, hex code colors, and you can see color codes here. So you can literally just maybe say I want this color. You can copy the color there and then say hashtag, paste that color, comma, then you go back and choose maybe a different color. What would blend much nicer? Maybe this color. So we do that, and then we say hashtag again, paste this color. Now we've added a background. Let's see how it looks so far. Or have I not linked it yet? I should have. Okay, wait. And then after our color, this is a black, right? CSS power. There we go. I don't know why I had to refresh. Okay, so you see how it's now changed. This is basically going that way, but it's not full screen yet. So this margin, like I said, margin does this on the side. It removes the margin. There's also padding, something called padding. And then you've got font family. That's the type of font we want. So let's just say we wanted, yes, I will post yeah, I will post it on YouTube. So you see how this is red right now? You see when you don't close with a semicolon, the next line won't be shown because you have not closed the previous line with a semicolon. So now what we're doing here, maybe let's use a different font. I didn't like the way that fonts looked. Let's try this one. Right, so now we've got margin, we've got font family, we've got background, and we've got color. Right, now we want our display to be a flex. So display flex basically means how we want our elements to show. So our elements will be flexible, and the flex direction we're looking for is a column. So the way it's going to be is with it's a column way. So there's row and there's column. So there's row and there's column. I'll try and see if we can illustrate this a bit better, and we can align our items to center. So we want all our items to be centered. Then that padding is your 2rem. So you can have it as pixels, sorry, or measured in rem, and that's just basically your background. So you see how now it's centered everything. Instead of having it there, it's made it a column, one column, and centered it in the middle. Do we see how we got to that? This is just CSS, and I just started with just the body, and there's much more. Would you rather I finish everything, explain and finish everything, and then we go back for questions, or must I stop here at body, see if anyone has a question? Finish first, stop in between. So I don't know what you guys want. I see one stop, one finish first. Okay, if I'm a stop in between, who has a question here? So this is your margin, right? Explain as you go. Yes, I know prettier, but I want to keep it as not complex as possible so that people can at least have similar as me. And then we can get to, you see already I installed live server for them. Then we can get to stuff like prettier. But yeah, I know prettier, it will help just do the formatting for us. Okay, let's just continue then. So we did a header this side, right? This header. So now we want to style the specific header. So we can add our background. Sorry. And so this basically means this is your x-axis, so padding within your x-axis and then padding within y-axis. Thank you so much, Notando. Tando. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Okay, so this this specific rem is, it's a specific it's called rootem, and it's a specific font size, or it's a size, basically a pixel size. So one rem is equal to 16 pixels. What does this thing mean? Sorry, let me try and finish. It says my live is inactive. Ish. Thank you so much for lighting up the gallery. Yes, you can ask a question. Oh, it needs to see my face a bit. So Naledi, the reason it's ending is because it doesn't see my face, so it thinks there's no, it's not active, so it needs to see someone. Thank you for following. Yeah, I was explaining. One rem is 16 pixels, so you could have this as 16px. One rem and 16px is the same thing. Yes, you can go crazy, follow or go crazy. So this will be times 2, so this will be 32px. So rem is just one rem would be 16 pixels. So 0.5 obviously will be half of 16, which will be 8. So here I'm just saying that have this as 32 pixels padding. So it's same as having it like this. So rem, if you want to use rem, which is a bit easier because it's predefined, you use 1 rem for 16 pixels, 2 rem for 32, and so on and so forth. So 1 rem is 16, and then you times it like that. Okay, it's fine. I'll keep it like this. My YouTube is recording exactly what we're doing right here. Yes, anyone can do this, Noni. Okay, no, thank you so much. Thank you so much. We'll do that. So we're still following, right, guys? We've got some Oh, things have changed. But now I want to have issues and I submitted to IT. No, as long as you're still doing the exact same thing. Hey, which one are we using? 0.1. And then you got your margin. This will be 32 pixels. Ish. Skip this. Damn, man, it would have been such a. Oh, are you a developer or something? You're saying it's that easy. Which one are we using feeding? Oh, I got you. Okay, so this is not. Yes, I will. That's a nice one. Nice one. I love what you did there, Andile. Yeah, I will explain everything. I will explain everything. Basically here we're saying 16 pixels. 16 pixels in your. I think it's X direction. So if you remember maths, the Cartesian plane, there's X, there's Y. So 16 pixels top and bottom, and then the other one 32 pixels left and right. 32 pixels left and right. So it's just a space in between. So what people normally would do is you'd write top, left, so you can have 16 pixels top and bottom, and then 32 pixels left and right. So this would be X, the other one would be Y. So you see, normally you'd have padding top, padding bottom, padding left, padding right, but this is just an easier way. We can just have. Y is what? Yo, sorry, that's no, man. Yeah, X, Y. Sorry, that's me. Yeah, sorry, I'm wrong. Sorry, guys. Yeah, but you get me. So up down is, so this side is X. No, this is Y. That's X. Y, X, Y, X. So 16 pixels is top bottom, 32 pixel is right left. I hope you understand that part. This is box shadow. So box shadow is basically adding a shadow between at the back of this. So it's just adding like a small anyana shadow on this specific element. But I'll come back. Let's try and see how nice we can get it to look. So that what color is that? 4A. Let's try a different color here. 4. Yeah, it will be on the YouTube today. It will be uploaded as soon as we end the live. This looks a bit better. Just to clarify. I've been programming for 8 years right now. CSS is a lot. CSS is a lot. And at least at least we got some of the basics down. But yeah, CSS is a lot. Like a lot. I'm trying to have specific days, but people keep wanting me to go live. So what do we want? No, I'm looking for what I'm looking at is box shadows and then the colors. So these are not coming from my head, because I don't know who can know all these colors by head. REM is it stands for root M. So it's a measurement of a roots. Like normally, like I said, it's 16 and then 0.5 would be your 8. So it starts with 1 rem, which is 16 pixels. My voice is even going right now. CSS, I'm not a fan of CSS, and I hope we could get to like Tailwind CSS and stuff like that, because yeah, that makes life so much easier. So pure CSS, but it's good to learn this because you get to know the basics and understand. So .card is this one. This is .card. So I added class names for cards and card. No, Tailwind is just a framework within JavaScript, or not within, but it's like a styling framework that allows you to do all your styling within the HTML document. It's mainly for your Next.js and React and things like that. I wanna do tutorials, but at the moment I'm just doing live videos and posting them. Maybe I can do tutorials. Hey, I've never touched SCSS, yo. No, I'll be helping you guys step by step. Don't worry. We just want to try and see, get somewhere. Overflow. Emma swag is an overload. Transition. And I stole the show. You already know. Can you mix RAM and pixels in a code if you want to choose one? No, you can mix them. So whatever you want to use, just use whatever you want. So you can mix them. So you can have, you see how I have here I'll use RAM, and here I've got pixels, so it doesn't matter. So what is this? So you look at this and ask yourself, what is this? So this is what you call this, it's like a element within this card. So this is your, on this, sorry, yo, my voice is like running away. I was busy in the fantasy, then boom, match, and then lost. So this is a sudo, what? It's pseudo link, pseudo class. This so you see this specific colon, oh, you can't see, okay, so you see this specific colon and what I added there, which is hover. So when you add colon whatever to this specific class, you are saying I want you to do basically your different animations. So pseudo class is used to do a specific state. So when someone does something, it must do something. So you see here how the color changes when we hover. So that's the same thing, like on hover, maybe change background color. So this is a pseudo class. This is a pseudo class. It's a pseudo class. So we're almost done. So as soon as we hover, we want it to do something. So we can change the scale maybe. Hey, dude, it's whatever. But that's why we live in the age of your AIs. Can change the music. Okay. This time let's use 0.2. I'm about to stay off facts. Okay, so you see now when we hover over it, it does something. So what it does is when it hovers, you're making it a bit bigger. So you're scaling it up. So as soon as you hover, it goes bigger from its size. And then it scales up by 1.05, and it adds a box shadow. This is a shadow. So as soon as you hover, you see it adds some shadow behind it. Well, I don't use CSS. I use Tailwind, so I'm not a CSS person. I use Tailwind. You don't believe what you don't want your truth, but you need it. Sucker. No, you feel like a toucher. Increase the scale to 5. You know, see how it look like. Okay, this is how 5 looks like. So you see how big that is. So if you change it to 3, you see this is 3. Thank you. I hope I don't get kicked on YouTube. Carol, are you happy? That is the holes. That is how it goes. What did it tell you? Why? So that's getting cold. That's what we'll go. That's got code. What's the action? Yeah, can I ask? VS Code isn't working on my PC, so I want to know what other app I can use. Try PyCharm or I missed mate. Yes, Tailwind CSS. I'll try and explain what Tailwind CSS is. What other app can you use? Sublime Text. You can use Sublime Text. No, you can remember this. You see, the more you practice, the more you know what everything is. But no one will know everything. Hence, you've got sites like this that allow you to actually still see if you forgot how to do a table. This is how you'll do a table, etc. Yes, you can do the same thing on pictures. Yes, I use WebStorm, Chinese name. I use WebStorm on a daily basis. So that's my favorite IDE. It's called W3 Schools. Yes, coding is my full-time job. But we say we develop or engineer. Yes, I'm a software developer. But I work as an Android developer. Oh, the pseudo class. Pseudo class is this. Pseudo class allows you to do the state. You see, it allows you to do this. It allows you to do this. How can I stop? The number 8. How can I stop? And we want this comes into your responsive coding. Sorry. No, I want to get it out there so I can show you guys. I just told the money the third time I get to meet it last season. I know how much no credit. skip on your, I don't know. I didn't go to varsity. I learned on YouTube, self-taught. Okay, so do you see do you see how this looks now? Oh, I don't know what YouTube channels I can. There was what is it? Free code camp. Yeah, free code camp. Yo, Patsilo, how are you? You can try free code camp on YouTube. Okay, so here I'm just showing you guys responsiveness. So this will automatically respond based on the media width. So it's something from WhatsApp. I can't access my WhatsApp. Let me try on my Mac. Let me try. Okay, I'll check for you now, but okay guys, so you see how this looks. Let me just show you how it looked without CSS. So this is how it looks. Do you see the difference? So without CSS, this is a website you'd have. And the moment you add CSS, it changes completely. And you have something like this. Hover effects. And this is animation. And the responsive design is, you see, as I'm showing you, these cards move based on what your layout looks like, so that it does not stay as a straight line, you see. So now I'll quickly try and explain for you. I haven't started now when I use the Isaka song. Now you won't have an issue. Okay, let's try and explain everything. Yes, someone is asking for something. If you have 7 hours, then yes. But it must be what you want to learn. So it needs to be what you want to learn. Okay, let's go. Let's explain. So what we're doing here, right? We all know the HTML. I'm not going to explain that again. We could there. So we added this header tag. So it's just to say this is like our first heading. We're using this as our first element. which is our heading, which is this part right here. So you'd use a header tag if maybe you were doing a nav bar as well. So that's what the header tag is there for. Thank you, Andile. And then after that, we have a div. So yesterday, yeah, my voice is just going. Yesterday, what we did, we explained a div. And a div is a container. So in this div, it's got 3 different divs. So you'll see here, it's like this specific section contains these 3. It will be like a list. Remember how we did ordered and unordered lists? It's similar to that. So let's just disconnect the style for now so we can just keep looking at it as ugly as it is. Ish. Okay, yeah. So you see we have this div. This div is a container. So we're saying this must have different elements within this. So it's just a container. That's literally what a div is. And we naming it cards because this div or this container, oh, thank you so much for 20k. This div or this container contains different cards. So we're calling this one cards and each of them individual card. So this is card, card, and card. So they all are different cards on their own. Right? Are we still following? YouTube. Okay, YouTube is quiet. Let's continue. It's fine, YouTube is quiet. Okay, so we understand the cards and different card. So it's like this, think of this as UL, and these are all the LIs. So it will be one UL containing multiple LIs. Think of it like that. Now we're done. This was our basic HTML, and this is how it looks. Now this looks very ugly. This is very, very ugly, right? Let's do this. Okay, so you'll see as soon as we enable our CSS, something happens. So what happened just now? In our CSS, ignore the bottom part. We're gonna focus line by line. So this is body, right? This is body, and what it did is it went into our HTML file and found, oh, why is it looking like this? Okay, hey, that was looking very ugly. Cool. So we went into body and we changed the margin. Let's start with the margin. So if I show you, I don't know how I can try and show the difference at the same time. Yeah, maybe like this. Then you'll see. So if I remove this entire thing, so you see the spacing here. You see the spacing right here between the T and the line or the border of the browser. as soon as you add body, and add a margin 0, it removes the margin, meaning it makes it 0. There's no more space there, because we don't want a margin, because we'll be doing our own styling, right? If I had it as 20, it's gonna add some space in between there. 200. Is this thing sleeping now? I think did it just die? It didn't. I forgot the max, guys. I'm not a CSS person like that. Okay, I guess maybe the max is 20 pixels, but we wanted to have no margin there at all, right? Then the next thing we do is we add a font family. The font family we're using is Sego UI, right? And that changes the font. You see how the font is now. So if I show you before, this is how it is, and this is after. Do you see the difference in the font? So it's changed the font now, and now we want to change the background color. So now with the background color, okay, let's remove this now. With the background color, we're using a linear gradient. So the way this works, it wants to take 3 different parameters. Parameters are something a function requires. So it's taking the degree, it's taking the start and end color. So it starts with this color and ends with this color. So you see how it's starting and ending with this color. Let's see if we change this to 90 degrees, how it would look. So you see, there's no lines in between. If we change this to 360, this is how it looks. So the best results, 90 look very nice. So now it just changes the whole thing. You see how it blends. So the color starts from there, it ends to another color. So that's what linear gradient does. It takes the degrees and then the start color and end color. So it says I'll start at this color, blend to this color. Are we good there? Now this color changes every text to be the specific color. If I wanted them to be white, FFF, they would be white. Yes, you you can have 2. I think is the max of 2. I forgot if it's 2 or 3, but I don't think you can have many. Let's try and see. You can always play around. If it breaks, it breaks. Yep, you can have another color. See, so we've got 3 colors here. Let's see if we can add a 4th color. So this is more colors, so that doesn't look very nice. So the best blends are 2 colors. So I guess you can add multiple colors, so it doesn't hurt to try. You can always just try. If you feel like something would work, you can always try. Our color will change the font color of everything. You're not going to be able to upload work at the moment. There's nothing to upload. They'll let you guys know when you can upload. So this is the color. So I just want my text to be this grayish color. So that's that right there. Then afterwards, we want to have, so have you seen those jokes of centering a div, what? So here we are now saying we want to use a flex display. So meaning it needs to do like a box. So you see how automatically as soon as we added it, this became next to it. So now it's like one continuous line, this whole div. Remember, this is a div, all 3 items, div called cards. So as soon as we added this display flex, they put them next to each other, right? But now without display flex, we need to add something else. We want the flex direction, meaning how must the flex be? What happened now? Yeah, so you saw when it was like that, if we change this to row, they'll be next to each other, right? And if we change it to column, it comes in a column. So there's row and column, so we want them to be in a column. So the flex is making it flexible. Then your flex direction is in which way do you want it to move, horizontally being your row or vertically being a column. Then you wanna now know how do you want this to be in the center of the screen, right? The way we now center it to the screen is we add align items, right? So align items centers the whole everything in body into the center of the screen, and then comes your padding. So let me see if I can show you how padding changes. So if you look there by power of CSS, you see the space between there. The moment we add padding, so this is CSS now, so it's not doing a line break, but it's now allowing you to manipulate the location or basically it's just helping you arrange the content itself. So it allows you to like manipulate where it's actually located within the HTML file. So if you use BR, that just does a line break. Yeah, no, tell me where to go back to, because no one is saying I'm fast, so I thought I'm going at good speed. Let's just show my face again. Where do you need me to go back to? Okay, it's fine. Let me continue. So now let's go back. Let me try and just make this a bit. Repeat the padding. So the padding is, you see this at the top. Let's close this. So the padding is between the power of CSS and the line or the border at the top here. That's the padding, but we're doing all around, so you wouldn't see the other one because it's a bit far. That does a comment Millie, so it just commented out so that it doesn't run. So if I change this to maybe 60 pixels, you see how it came more down. But if we change it to 0, that will move up, but there's a margin. So you see, we put 32, it goes down a bit more. Put 100, it goes down more. So do you understand now the padding? Okay, perfect. Okay, the next part is, remember in our HTML we done this header file, right? This header tag. This header tag is this element here, the power of CSS and some text, right? So here's some CSS code we're gonna execute to get this header to look a bit nicer. So for this header, we added a background color, right, of white. So if maybe you wanted it to be red, just change it there, it will be whatever color you want. So this is just the background color of the div now, right? Because of the header, sorry. So if you have no color, it will be invisible because you have some box shadow. So we want white, so our header has a background of white. Then we have padding within it. So if I remove this, sorry, I didn't remove it. So you see, if I remove the padding, this is so close to the border, right? And that does not look nice. So adding padding will allow it that within itself just add some spaces between so that it does not touch the sides. Does that make sense? Then border radius, you see how it's a square, right? So this square, we wanted to have some curves. So to do curves, you just add border dash radius and however pixels you want the radius to be. So if you've done 10 pixels, you see how small the radius is. Then 20 pixels will increase it a bit. You see it's a bit of a more curve. 30 pixels makes it more curved again. So you see, that's what border radius does. So it helps you to corner your stuff, make it look a bit nicer. So 20 looked a bit nicer, even 25. Yeah. Then box shadow. So now your box shadow adds basically like you see that at the back. Let's remove this box shadow. So you see how this looks like it's on the actual background, right? Box shadow makes it look like it's elevated a bit. So it adds like a shadow so that it looks a bit nice and you can actually see that it's a box. So you've got your different so if you play around maybe with this, this is your, I think your intensity, if I'm not mistaken. What does the FNB App Academy thing about? So it's about FNB App Academy is having this thing where they're allowing people to come learn programming for free, and then they get a certificate, NQF level 5 certificate at the end. No, understand. Vertical. How deep does web development course go? Hey, we might end like at 11:30 because you can already hear I have no voice. It's running away. So okay, so this is, oh, where's the music now? The content. So I'm not too sure. I'm just an alumni helping people learn. So I'm just quickly answering a message. Okay, let's continue. Okay. So we're explaining box shadow, right? So with box shadow we have to create more phosphorylated. It's better. With box file we have these different elements, right? We've got this for your horizontal effect. This is your vertical effect, so horizontal, vertical, and this is basically your blur radius. So if I change this to 4, it's this. You see how it looks a bit sharper? You can actually see it. So if you make it a bit bigger, it's a bit, you know, like it blurs a bit better. It blurs a bit better. So that's what that is, and this is the color of the blur, or of the back of the shadow. Margin bottom, that does, let's move it. So you see between responsive design and the box itself, there's no space in between those two, so we want to add some space. So we add some space, and then this adds a margin at the bottom of this box. I think I said 5. It's 5, no? Where's mine? I don't know where mine went. I think it's a 5, level 5. Hi, Tando. How are you, Tando? It came Kafos. Oh no, it's hitting me. My voice is even going. Like, my voice is going. And tomorrow I have to be live. I have to be live. But okay, cool. Hope you good. Hope you good, T. Yo. Yo. Okay, what's next? We were on margin bottom, yeah. So the margin bottom, like I said, is add space below this specific block, right? So without it, this is how it looks. No space. Thank you very much, T. Thank you so much. And then with the space, or with the margin bottom, it adds only at the bottom. So if I said margin top as well, margin top, 32 pixels, then you see how it adds space at the top as well. How do I change my live goal? I ain't gotta stress about it. Haven't seen you in a while. Girl, I thought you'd be more for love. I ain't gotta stress about it no more. One time for my shawty. Naleta ifuni lento. Oh, there you go. I don't know if I can edit it while I'm live. So padding is inside the element, margin is outside the element. So that's the difference between those two. Naled, I can't. I can't. I don't know how to. I'm like trying, but let's just try and continue. Okay, so that's your margin, right? And then comes your text. So text align, it's literally straightforward. It aligns the text. Maybe if we said start, it will align the text to the start, you see. And if we say center, it aligns it center of the header. And if we say end, it aligns it to the end of the actual block. So that's what the text align does. So having it in the center would look very nice. So that's why we put center. And animation fade in. So this is more advanced CSS, right? This fade in is defined down here. So it needs to be on, and then as soon as you open up the website, it will do this animation. It will go from an opacity of 0 and transform, meaning move from one position, and we want the Y position of -20, and it moves to 0, 0 being where it currently is, and the current opacity must be 1. But I'll try and go a bit deeper on that. Now the next part is we want to change our h1 being this part of this block, right? So to change our h1, we just call h1. We don't want any margin between h1. So let's see without the margin how it looks. You see, so it has its padding and all that. So if we add a margin of 0, it doesn't add anything next to it, right? Then the next part is the font size. What size will it be? 48, if you want 50, if you want 20, you choose whatever you want. So however nice it would look for you is what you choose. So we can have 48, 49, 20, whatever. So we've chosen 48. And the color, so you can choose whatever color you want. Maybe this looks nicer, so you can change it to that blue, or maybe a darker blue, however you want it. So that's straightforward. We've already understood this, right? Yes, it's NQF level 4 or 5. I forgot. I feel like it was 5, man. I think it was 5, but yeah, I think it's between 4 and 5. Okay, we understand this part. The next part is our paragraph. So we can just change paragraph. Oh, Donako, why are you sharing so much? Your header doesn't change color. So in your CSS, do you have it as header like I do here? Okay, P is just say all the paragraphs, we just want them to be 18 pixels. Even if you wanted 24 pixels, all of the paragraphs will be 24 pixels. So even 20, whatever looks nice for you. So we can even pick 20, it's fine. Then after that, we've got this card element. Remember we did class names, right? Okay, here you go. This is number 2. Are you fine, Miss B? Okay, perfect. Let's continue. We're now by card, right? So I was saying, remember we created this class called card. So now we want to edit all of these 3 different divs, and they're all using one name. So remember I did say in the previous one that if you had first heading, you're making it unique. But if you wanted this to also be first heading, you just put it as first heading also. and whenever you just change one first heading, all of them will do the same effect. So for card, we want a background color. So what color do we want this to have? Then if we remove the rest, see how ugly it looks. That's just adding a background color. And then if we add some padding to this, now add some padding in between it, you see. So now padding is inside. Remember I did say padding is within, so it adds padding inside the block, right? But now you want some spaces outside of the block as well, so that it can show that it's 3 different blocks, right? What? Turn off. Okay, let's continue. Okay, so we have our padding, right? And remember I said I want us to have spaces in between the cards themselves, and for us to do that we add some border radius. Okay, oh, we're not there yet, but sorry. So border radius, you see how it looks very straight, right? The moment we add a border radius, it now makes it curved the way we did it there. And then afterwards we add some box shadow. So remember I said this is your horizontal effect, this is your vertical effect, so the effect of the blur itself, and this is the blur, yeah, like how much you want it to be blurred. So if you put it 4 as an example, it's a bit stronger, so you can't even see the blur at the top, so it just increases the blur and makes it look a bit smoother or nicer for you. So you see how it looks right now, but these are all still together. We want them to be separated. So this transition just does a transform, right? So it just says I wanted to ease and change the box shadow for 3 seconds. So this will be when we add our effects right here. So for now I'll come back to that. Let's continue. Width. So width is now saying how big you want or how wide you want the box to be. So if you wanted it to be 600, it would be 600. If you wanted to be 100, this is 100. So 300 looks nice, right? Even 400. So this is your box width. Then the last thing, we want space in between these boxes. To do the space, we just do margin, and you can add whatever margin you want, and just like that it adds some space. So it's a margin of 20. If you wanted 40, it will be a bigger space. And just like that, we've now made this go from this to this. Where did my chat go? Why can I not see my chats? There will be code submissions, don't worry. Sorry, I don't see my comments. I wanna just try and see if I can get the comments out. If you can't see the live chat, try switching the game window. It's fine, I'll try and watch them this side. Yeah, it's gonna be a nice journey. Yes, I will post this live when I'm done. Okay, it's fine, let's continue. I'll see the comments this side. So like I said, this is how it looks without the CSS, and this is how it looks with the CSS. Doesn't that look much nicer? So we've got your background color, you've got some padding, box radius or border radius, which makes the curves, box shadow, which adds some shadow at the back, transition will get back to. Width is how wide you want it to be. I think it's, I'm not sure, I think it's 5 men, but I forgot. Yes, it's NQF level 5. So you'll get an NQF level 5 certificate. Yeah, so margin adds the spaces in between because they all 3 elements on top of each other, so add some space. Now this part this part adds hover. So like I said, this is your pseudo class. What's a pseudo class? This is to say it adds an effect on this or a state on the specific class. So we're saying on this class we want the effect of hover, so a state of hover. And when this hover happens, what must happen? So you could even say when the person hovers, change the background color to this. So as soon as they hover, the color changes, you see. So this says when something happens, just do this. So as soon as someone hovers, it changes the color as well. So you could even change the color of the text, make that white because your background is a bit dark. So you see, as soon as you hover, it does that. Doesn't that look very nice? So what happens here, transform does the scaling. So it's saying currently the scale is at 1. Just for instance, say the scaling as it is, as you see it right now, the scale is 1. And as soon as you add a scale, you're saying transform the scale to 1.05. So it just goes up just a bit. You see, if we said add the scale and make it 2, it will double it. As soon as we hover, it goes bigger. You see, it's much bigger. Maybe said 1.5. See, it's a bit less. 1.2. There you go. You'd still see that whole difference, right? So that's what transform does, and it only happens when someone hovers. So there's different states of this pseudo effect. So you see, there's your hover. There's a lot that we'll still learn, but yeah, there's a lot of different states that you can use when it's selected, when it's focused, all that stuff. I hope we're still following. Actually, why am I saying focus now? Then again, box shadow is the same we explained up there. And then background color, like I said, it's what I just did now. So if you want the color to change when a person hovers, you just add that color in there. And then color, this is for your text, because before it was, you see, it was not blending nice with your background color. So as soon as you add at least color deals with your text color. So this is, it makes it white on a black, you see, so that looks a bit nicer. So that's for the cards hover. Now when we want to do the cards, meaning the entire see, so this is what happens right now. If I want to do the entire div called cards, this is what we do, and it now makes it more responsive. So if I can show you before without it, how it looks. So you see how it's all in one line. It's not responsive, it's not moving to the sides based on the screen width. So as soon as we now add some CSS, so we want a flex box, or we want to display flex like we did at the top with the body, meaning we want to be able to move the location of the cards div or container, and the flex we're wrapping it around. So meaning wherever it goes, it needs to just try and keep that same I'm losing my words, like the same layout, I guess. I'm losing my words, sorry. So, and then this is just to say it needs to stay centered, and then the gap between them. So if I had no gap, there'd be no gap in between them. So you see there, and then as soon as we add a gap, it just adds 16. If we made it 2, it will be a bit bigger. So you want me to use grid. So this is your grid. But you use grid when you want to do grid type of stuff. So, but they never last. So I don't know what you want me to explain there with your grid. Okay, after gap, we'll keep the gap as 1. Then this is that keyframes I was telling you about now. Okay, let's start with keyframes. Okay, so the first thing we do here, if I refresh here, you see how this animates in. So remember we done this at the top here. We said animation is fade in for 1 second and it must ease out forward. So we're saying find this animation, this one we just created down here called fade in, and after finding that, it needs to animate for 1 second. So if I refresh again, you see it happens for 1 second. If I made it 3 seconds, it will be a bit longer. So you see it takes a while now. So that's how you animate with CSS. So you've got that fade in animation, but obviously it needs to know what must it do when it's fading in, because if I remove this, nothing's gonna happen. So if I refresh, nothing happens because we're not telling it what to do. So here we're telling it that when you start, we want your opacity, meaning the transparency, to be 0, so don't show up at all, and we want your location to be -20. If you said -100, it will start all the way from at the top there and end up at 0. So this negative means go back, 0 means stop exactly where you were. But if you wanted it to stop below, you could say 20 pixels and it will go just more down. So you see it's more down. If I said 60 pixels, it will go more down. So you see, that's what your animation does. And you do your opacity first. After your opacity, you're using transform. So transform is just you are now moving. The code is formatted, what you're saying. Yeah, we're about to close, guys, because anyway we're almost done, and then we can answer questions tomorrow, because you guys at least will still see FNB App Academy's live, and then at 8 o'clock we'll try and go over this again. But I feel like 7 might be a bit better, so we can do an hour of this and then continue with whatever FNB App Academy will be also showing us. But yeah, so you see, this is your keyframes. It changes from, this is from, so you're saying from wherever this must happen, then 2 is where it must end up. So you can call this as start, and then this as end. Let's say 8 for now. Say 8 for now. So we wanted to end it where it was, its original position. So now we want to add some responsiveness, right? So you see how the power of CSS is big, whether we have a big screen or a small screen. So we can change that by having this. This is a media. Ooh, 30K, thank you guys. So this will change based on the size. So you see how big it is. As soon as it goes less than 600, it goes a bit smaller. So if we change this maybe to 10, so you see how small it is, but as soon as we increase, it goes back to whatever it was. So this is just to do responsiveness. So normally when you want to say, when it's a phone, I want the height to be this or the size to be this, so you'd know the size, the max width of a phone would be certain pixels, then you'd be able to edit it like that. And then this card width is 90. So if we didn't have this, you see it goes all the way to the end. So we want to max it out at 90%. So even the animation doesn't go out of the screen. So this would be on a phone, for example. But yeah, that's some CSS. um yeah, I don't know if I need to put this code somewhere so you guys can go over it. Do you want me to post this code so you guys can go over it? Okay, I'll upload it to my OneDrive, Google Drive. So to link index HTML and the CSS, it's this code right here. So line number 7, you add a link relationship called style sheet, and the reference or where to find the file is href. Then you write the file's name, style.css. Okay, you guys can scan. I'm gonna open a QR code, and then you guys can scan, and you'll be able to see the. Thank you so much, guys, for the likes, for the people that were on the live. I appreciate it so much. Yeah, we can do one-on-one. Just send me a DM. Okay, so here's the QR code, guys. This will be where you can download the. You can download the what you call this, the code that I used today. Then you can go over it, watch the live. It'll be on YouTube. Watch the live and at least reference what I was doing, so you can at least see. And then we'll obviously continue tomorrow. If anyone has questions, we'll have question tomorrow. But we'll obviously go through what FNB App Academy will be doing tomorrow. Then we have a recap of that. Thank you, Naledi. Thank you for the follow. You guys can scan, right? Or you're gonna take a screenshot. I hope I'm not covering. Where's the best place? I can't see the best place. Let me try and see. So just take a screenshot, then email it to your laptop. Email it to your laptop, and then you can what's this? Yeah, this is the best place. Email it to your laptop, and then you'll be able to take a scan. Let me try and see if I can. Yes, that's smart. Watch on YouTube and scan with your phone. Go to YouTube and watch on YouTube, and then you'll scan with your phone. I just hit my mama 30 rags, lale. 21 already, babe. Yes, let me try and do that. Add it in the description, and then I'll also post it in the chat right now. Source. Yes, I've added it under the YouTube description, as well as pasted it in the chat for YouTube right now. So if you just open YouTube, under the description the link will be there, and obviously people that have taken screenshots will use the QR code. But yeah, I think that will be all from me. No questions for tonight. We'll have them tomorrow. So as you can hear, my voice is going, so I can just do that tomorrow. Thank you so much, everyone who joined. Thank you for the likes. I appreciate everyone, and we'll continue tomorrow. See you guys. Goodbye.